The Lion King is a 1994 American animated musical drama film produced by Walt Disney Feature Animation and released by Walt Disney Pictures. It is the 32nd Disney animated feature film, and the fifth animated film produced during a period known as the Disney Renaissance. The Lion King was directed by Roger Allers and Rob Minkoff, produced by Don Hahn, and has a screenplay credited to Irene Mecchi, Jonathan Roberts, and Linda Wolverton. Its original songs were written by composer Elton John and lyricist Tim Rice, with a score by Hans Zimmer. The film features an ensemble voice cast that includes Matthew Broderick, James Earl Jones, Jeremy Irons, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, Moira Kelly, Nathan Lane, Ernie Sabella, Rowan Atkinson, Robert Guillaume, Madge Sinclair, in her last film role, Whoopi Goldberg, Cheech Marin, and Jim Cummings. The story takes place in a kingdom of lions in Africa and was influenced by the biblical stories of Joseph and Moses, and William Shakespeare's Hamlet. The Lion King tells the story of Simba, Swahili for lion, a young lion who is to succeed his father, Mufasa, as king of the Pride Lands. However, after Simba's paternal uncle Scar murders Mufasa, Simba is manipulated into thinking he was responsible and flees into exile. After growing up in the company of the carefree outcasts Timon and Pumbaa, Simba receives valuable perspective from his childhood friend, Nala, and his shaman, Rafiki, before returning to challenge Scar to end his tyranny and take his place in the circle of life as the rightful king. Development of The Lion King began in 1988 during a meeting between Jeffrey Katzenberg, Roy E. Disney, and Peter Schneider while promoting Oliver and Company in Europe. Thomas M. Disk wrote a film treatment, and Wolverton developed the first scripts, while George Scribner was signed on as director, being later joined by Allers. Production began in 1991 concurrently with Pocahontas, which wound up attracting many of Disney's top animators. Sometime after the staff traveled to Hell's Gate National Park in Kenya to research the film's setting and animals, Scribner left production, disagreeing with the decision to turn the film into a musical, and was replaced by Minkoff. When Hahn joined the project, he was dissatisfied with the script and the story was promptly rewritten. Nearly 20 minutes of animation sequences were produced at the Disney MGM Studios theme park in Florida. Computer animation was also used in several scenes, most notably in the wildebeest stampede sequence. The Lion King was released on June 15, 1994, to a positive reaction from critics, who praised the film for its music, story, themes, and animation. With an initial worldwide gross of $763 million. It finished its theatrical run as the highest-grossing film of 1994 and the highest-grossing animated film. It is also the highest-grossing traditionally animated film of all time, as well as the best-selling film on home video, having sold over 30 million VHS tapes. On release, the film drew some controversy in Japan for its perceived similarities to Osamu Tezuka's 1960s anime series Kimba the White Lion. The Lion King garnered 2 Academy Awards for its achievement in music and the Golden Globe Award for Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. The film has led to many derived works, such as a Broadway adaptation, 2 direct-to-video follow-ups, the sequel, The Lion King II, Simba's Pride, 1998, and the prequel. In the Pride Lands of Africa, a pride of lions rules over the animal kingdom from Pride Rock. King Mufasa and Queen Sarabi present their newborn son, Simba, to the gathering animals by Rafiki the Mandrill, the kingdom's shaman and advisor. Mufasa shows Simba the Pride Lands and explains to him the responsibilities of kingship and the circle of life, which connects all living things. Mufasa's younger brother, Scar, covets the throne and plots to get rid of Mufasa and Simba so that he may become king. He tricks Simba and his best friend Nala into exploring a forbidden elephant's graveyard, where they are chased by 3 hyenas named Shenzi, Banzai, and Ed. Mufasa hears about the incident from his majordomo, the hornbill Zazu, and rescues the cubs. Though upset with Simba, Mufasa forgives him and explains that the great kings of the past watch over them from the night sky, from which he will one day watch over Simba. Meanwhile, Scar visits the hyenas and convinces them to help him overthrow Mufasa in exchange for hunting rights in the Pride Lands. Scar sets a trap for his brother and nephew, luring Simba into a gorge and having the hyenas drive a large herd of wildebeest into a stampede that will trample him. He informs Mufasa of Simba's peril, knowing that the king will rush to save his son. Mufasa saves Simba but ends up hanging perilously from the gorge's edge. Scar refuses to help Mufasa, instead sending him falling to his death. He then convinces Simba that the tragedy was Simba's own fault and advises him to leave the kingdom and never return. He orders the hyenas to kill the cub, but Simba escapes. Scar tells the Pride that the stampede killed Mufasa and Simba and steps forward as the new king, allowing the Hyenas clan to live in the Pride Lands. Timon and Pumbaa, a meerkat and warthog, rescue Simba, who has collapsed in a desert. Simba grows up with his 2 new friends in their oasis, living a carefree life under the motto, Hakuna Matata, no worries, in Swahili. A grown-up Simba rescues Timon and Pumbaa from a hungry lioness, who turns out to be Nala. She and Simba reunite and fall in love, and she urges him to return home, telling him that the Pride Lands have become a drought-stricken wasteland under Scar's reign. Still feeling guilty over his father's death, Simba refuses and storms off. He then encounters Rafiki, who tells him that Mufasa's spirit lives on in Simba. Simba is visited by the ghost of Mufasa in the night sky, who tells him that he must take his rightful place as king. Realizing that he can no longer run from his past, Simba decides to return to the Pride Lands. Aided by his friends, Simba sneaks past the hyenas at Pride Rock and confronts Scar, who was about to fight Sarabi. Scar taunts Simba over his role in Mufasa's death and backs him to the edge of the rock, where he reveals to him that he murdered Mufasa. Enraged, Simba forces him to show the truth to the rest of the Pride. Timon, Pumbaa, Rafiki, Zazu, and the lionesses fend off the hyenas while Scar, attempting to escape, gets cornered by Simba at a ledge near the top of Pride Rock. Scar begs for mercy and attempts to blame his crimes on the hyenas. Simba spares his life but orders him to leave the Pride Lands forever. Scar refuses and attacks his nephew, but Simba throws him off the cliff after a brief fight. Scar survives the fall but gets attacked and mauled to death by the hyenas, who overheard his attempt to betray them. Afterward, Simba takes over the kingship and makes Nala his queen. With the Pride Lands restored to its usual state, Rafiki presents Simba and Nala's newborn cub to the assembled animals, continuing the circle of life. Development. The idea for The Lion King was conceived in late 1988 during a conversation between Jeffrey Katzenberg, Roy E. Disney, and Peter Schneider on a plane to Europe to promote Oliver and Company, 1988. During the conversation, the topic of a story set in Africa came up, and Katzenberg immediately jumped at the idea. 7. The idea was then developed by Walt Disney Feature Animation's Vice President for Creative Affairs Charlie Fink. 8. Katzenberg decided to add elements involving coming of age and death, and ideas from personal life experiences, such as some of his trials in his bumpy road in politics, saying about the film, "It is a little bit about myself." 9. In November of that year, Thomas Disk, author of The Brave Little Toaster, wrote a treatment entitled King of the Kalahari. 10. And afterwards, Linda Wolverton spent a year writing drafts of the script, which was titled King of the Beasts and then King of the Jungle. 8. The original version of the film was very different from the final film. The plot was centered in a battle being between lions and baboons, with Scar being the leader of the baboons, Rafiki being a cheetah. 9. And Timon and Pumbaa being Simba's childhood friends. 11. Simba would also not leave the kingdom but become a lazy, slovenly, horrible character due to manipulations from Scar, so Simba could be overthrown after coming of age. By 1990, producer Thomas Schumacher, who had just completed The Rescuers Down Under, 1990, decided to attach himself to the project, because lions are cool. 8. Schumacher likened the script for King of the Jungle to an animated National Geographic special. In October 1991, Oliver & Company director George Scribner was the initial director of the film. 13. Being later joined by Roger Allers, who was the lead story man on Beauty and the Beast, 1991. 7. Allers brought with him Brenda Chapman, who would become the head of story. 8. Afterwards, several of the lead crew members, including Allers, Scribner, Hahn, Chapman, and production designer Chris Sanders, took a trip to Hell's Gate National Park in Kenya in order to study and gain an appreciation of the environment for the film. 14. After 6 months of story development work, Scribner decided to leave the project, as he clashed with Allers and the producers on their decision to turn the film into a musical, as Scribner's intention was of making a documentary-like film more focused on natural aspects. 7. 15. Rob Minkoff replaced Scribner. 14. And producer Don Hahn joined the production as Schumacher became only an executive producer due to Disney promoting him to Vice President of Development for Feature Animation. 12. Hahn found the script unfocused and lacking a clear theme, and after establishing the main theme as leaving childhood and facing up to the realities of the world, asked for a final retool. Allers, Minkoff, Chapman, and Hahn then rewrote the story across 2 weeks of meetings with directors Kirk Wise and Gary Trousdale, who had just finished Beauty and the Beast. 14. The script also had its title changed from King of the Jungle to The Lion King, as the setting was not the jungle but the savannah. 7. It was also decided to make Scar and Mufasa brothers, since the writers felt that it was much more interesting if the threat came from someone within the family. Not counting Saludos Amigos, 1942, The Three Caballeros, 1944, most segments from both Make Mine Music, 1946, and Melody Time, 1948. And The Rescuers Down Under, 1990, that latter being a sequel to The Rescuers, 1977. The Lion King was the first Disney animated feature to be an original story, rather than be based on an already existing work. The filmmakers have said that the story of The Lion King was inspired by the lives of Joseph and Moses, from the Bible, and William Shakespeare's Hamlet. 16. During the summer of 1992, the team was joined by screenwriter Irene Mecchi, with a second screenwriter, Jonathan Roberts, joining a few months later. Mecchi and Roberts took charge of the revision process, fixing unresolved emotional issues in the script and adding comic situations for Pumbaa, Timon, and The Hyenas. 4. Lyricist Tim Rice worked closely with the writing team, flying to California at least once a month because his songs needed to work in the narrative continuity. Rice's lyrics, which were reworked up to the production's end, were pinned to the storyboards during development. 14. Rewrites were frequent, with animator Andreas Deja saying that completed scenes would be delivered, only for the response to be that parts needed to be reanimated because of dialogue changes. Casting: the voice actors were chosen for how they fit and could add to the characters. For instance, James Earl Jones was cast because the directors found his voice powerful and similar to a lion's roar. 17. Jones commented that during the years of production, Mufasa became more and more of a dopey dad instead of a grand king. 18. Nathan Lane originally auditioned for Zazu, and Ernie Sabella for one of the hyenas. Upon meeting each other at the recording studio, the actors, who at the time both co-starred in Guys and Dolls, were asked to record together as hyenas. The directors laughed at their performance and decided to cast them as Timon and Pumbaa. 17. 19. For the hyenas, the original intention was to reunite Cheech and Chong. But while Cheech Marin accepted to play Banzai, Tommy Chong was unavailable. Thus his role was changed into a female hyena, Shenzi, who was voiced by Whoopi Goldberg. 11. Matthew Broderick was cast as adult Simba early during production, and during the 3 years of voice acting only recorded with another actor once. And only discovered Moira Kelly voiced Nala at the premiere. 20. English actors Tim Curry and Malcolm McDowell were originally considered for the role of Scar. 21. However, it was ultimately won by English actor Jeremy Irons. 22. Irons initially refused the role due to not being comfortable going from the dramatic performance as Klaus von Bülow in Reversal of Fortune 1990, to a comedic role. But once he came in, Irons' performance inspired the writers to incorporate more of his acting as von Bülow, adding one of that character's lines, "You have no idea," and inspired animator Andreas Deja to watch both Reversal of Fortune and Damage, 1992, to pick up Irons's facial traits and tics. Animation: The Lion King was considered a little movie because we were going to take some risks. The pitch for the story was a lion cub gets framed for murder by his uncle set to the music of Elton John. People said, "What? Good luck with that." But for some reason, the people who ended up on the movie were highly passionate about it and motivated. Don Hahn, 19. The development of The Lion King coincided with that of Pocahontas, 1995. Which most of the animators of Walt Disney Feature Animation decided to work on instead, believing it would be the more prestigious and successful of the two. 16. The story artists also did not have much faith in the project, with Chapman declaring she was reluctant to accept the job, because the story wasn't very good. 8. And writer Bernie Mattinson saying to co-worker Joe Ranft, "I don't know who is going to want to watch that one." 15. Self-published source: most of the leading animators either were doing their first major work supervising a character, or had much interest in animating an animal. 9. 13 of these supervising animators, both in California and in Florida, were responsible for establishing the personalities and setting the tone for the film's main characters. The animation leads for the main characters included Mark Henn on young Simba, Ruben A. Aquino on adult Simba, Andreas Deja on Scar, Aaron Blaise on young Nala, Anthony DeRosa on adult Nala, and Tony Fucili on Mufasa. 4. Nearly 20 minutes of the film, including the "I Just Can't Wait to Be King" sequence, 11, was animated at the Disney MGM Studios facility. More than 600 artists, animators, and technicians contributed to The Lion King, 13 weeks before the film was to be released. The 1994 Northridge earthquake shut down the studio and required the animators to finish their work from home. The character animators studied real-life animals for reference, as was done for Bambi, 1942. Jim Fowler, renowned wildlife expert, visited the studios on several occasions with an assortment of lions and other savanna inhabitants to discuss behavior and help the animators give their drawings authenticity. 14. The animators also studied animal movements at the Miami Metro Zoo under guidance from wildlife expert Ron McGill. 25. The Pride Lands are modeled on the Kenyan National Park visited by the crew. Varied focal lengths and lenses were employed to differ from the habitual portrayal of Africa in documentaries, which employ telephoto lenses to shoot the wildlife from a distance. The epic feel drew inspiration from concept studies by artist Hans Bacher, who, following Scribner's request for realism, tried to depict effects such as lens flare, and the works of painters Charles Marion Russell, Frederick Remington, and Maxfield Parrish. 14. 26. Art director Andy Gaskell and the filmmakers sought to give the film a sense of grand sweep and epic scale similar to David Lean's Lawrence of Arabia, 1962. Gaskell explained, "We wanted audiences to sense the vastness of the savanna and to feel the dust and the breeze swaying through the grass. In other words, to get a real sense of nature and to feel as if they were there. It's very difficult to capture something as subtle as a sunrise or rain falling on a pond. But those are the kinds of images that we tried to get." The filmmakers also watched the films of John Ford and other filmmakers, which also influenced the design of the film. Because the characters were not anthropomorphized, all the animators had to learn to draw four-legged animals. And the story and character development was done through the use of longer shots following the characters. 11. Computers helped the filmmakers present their vision in new ways. For the wildebeest stampede sequence, several distinct wildebeest characters were created in a 3D computer program, multiplied into hundreds, cel-shaded to look like drawn animation, and given randomized paths down a mountainside to simulate the real, unpredictable movement of a herd. 27. 5 specially trained animators and technicians spent more than 2 years creating the 2.5-minute stampede. 4. The computer animation production system, CAPS, helped simulate camera movements such as tracking shots, and was employed in coloring, lighting, and particle effects. Lyricist Tim Rice, who was working with composer Alan Menken on songs for Aladdin, 1992, was invited to write the songs, and accepted on the condition of finding a composing partner. As Menken was unavailable, the producers accepted Rice's suggestion of Elton John. 17. After Rice's invitation of ABBA fell through due to Benny Andersson being busy with the musical Christina Fran Duvermala. 9. John expressed an interest in writing ultra-pop songs that kids would like. Then adults can go and see those movies and get just as much pleasure out of them, mentioning a possible influence of The Jungle Book, 1967. Where he felt that music was so funny and appealed to kids and adults. 28. John and Rice wrote 5 original songs for the film: Circle of Life, I Just Can't Wait to Be King, Be Prepared, Hakuna Matata, and Can You Feel the Love Tonight, with John's performance of Can You Feel the Love Tonight playing over the end credits. 29. The IMAX and DVD releases added another song, The Morning Report, based on a song discarded during development that eventually featured in the live musical version of The Lion King. 30. The score was composed by Hans Zimmer, who was hired based on his work in 2 films in African settings: The Power of One, 1992, and A World Apart, 1988, 14, and supplemented the score with traditional African music and choir elements arranged by Le Bohème, 29. Zimmer's partners Mark Mancina and Jay Rifkin helped with arrangements and song production. The Lion King original motion picture soundtrack was released by Walt Disney Records on April 27, 1994. It was the 4th best-selling album of the year on the Billboard 200 and the top-selling soundtrack. 32. It is the only soundtrack for an animated film to be certified Diamond, 10 times Platinum, by the Recording Industry Association of America. Zimmer's complete instrumental score for the film was never originally given a full release until the soundtrack's commemorative 20th anniversary re-release in 2014. 33. The Lion King also inspired the 1995 release Rhythm of the Pride Lands, with 8 songs by Zimmer, Mancina, and Le Bohème. 34. The use of the song "The Lion Sleeps Tonight" in a scene with Timon and Pumbaa led to disputes between Disney and the family of South African Solomon Linda, who composed the song, originally titled "Mbube" in 1939. In July 2004, Linda's family filed suit, seeking $1.6 million in royalties from Disney. In February 2006, Linda's heirs reached a legal settlement with Abilene Music, who held the worldwide rights and had licensed the song to Disney for an undisclosed amount of money. Marketing for The Lion King's first film trailer, Disney opted to feature a single scene, the entire opening sequence with the song "Circle of Life." Buena Vista Pictures distribution president Dick Cook said the decision was made for such an approach because, "We were all so taken by the beauty and majesty of this piece that we felt like it was probably one of the best 4 minutes of film that we've seen." And Don Hahn added that "Circle of Life" worked as a trailer as it came off so strong, and so good, and ended with such a bang. The trailer was released in November 1993. Accompanying The Three Musketeers, 1993, and Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit, 1993, in theaters. By then, only a third of The Lion King had been completed. 36-37, audience reaction was enthusiastic, causing Hahn to have some initial concerns as he became afraid of not living up to the expectations raised by the preview. 36, prior to the film's release. Disney did 11 test screenings. 38, upon release, The Lion King was accompanied by an extensive marketing campaign which included tie-ins with Burger King, Mattel, Kodak, Nestlé, and Payless shoe sauce, and various merchandise. 39, accounting 186 licensed products. 41, in 1994. Disney earned approximately $1 billion with products based on the film. 42, with $214 million for Lion King toys during Christmas 1994 alone. Theatrical The Lion King had a limited release in the United States on June 15, 1994, playing in only 2 theaters: El Capitan Theater in Los Angeles and Radio City Music Hall in New York City. 44, and featuring live shows with ticket prices up to $30. 45, the wide release followed on June 24, 1994. In 2,550 screens. The digital surround sound of the film led many of those theaters to implement Dolby Laboratories' newest sound systems. Theatrical The Lion King had a limited release in the United States on June 15, 1994, playing in only 2 theaters. El Capitan Theater in Los Angeles and Radio City Music Hall in New York City, 44, and featuring live shows with ticket prices up to $30, 45. The wide release followed on June 24, 1994. In 2,550 screens. The digital surround sound of the film led many of those theaters to implement Dolby Laboratories' newest sound systems. Localization. When the movie was first released in 1994, it numbered 28 versions overall in as many languages and dialects worldwide, including a special Zulu version made specifically for the movie in South Africa, where a Disney USA team went to find the Zulu voice actors. This is not just the only Zulu dubbing ever made by Disney, but also the only one made in any African language. Other than Arabic. 47, 48. The Lion King marks also the first time a special dubbing is released in honor of a Disney movie background, but not the last. In 2016, the film Moana, 2016, received a special Tahitian language version, 49, followed in 2017 by a Maori version, 50, in 2018 by a Hawaiian version, 51, and in 2019 the film Frozen 2, 2019, was dubbed into Northern Sami, even though Frozen, 2013, was no home media. The Lion King was first released on VHS and Laserdisc in the United States on March 3, 1995, under Disney's Masterpiece Collection video series. The VHS edition of this release contained a special preview for Walt Disney Pictures' then upcoming animated film Pocahontas, in which the title character, voiced by Judy Kuhn, sings the musical number Colors of the Wind. Citation needed. In addition, deluxe editions of both formats were released. The VHS Deluxe Edition included the film, an exclusive lithograph of Rafiki and Simba, in some editions, a commemorative Circle of Life epigraph, 6 concept art lithographs, another tape with the half-hour TV special The Making of the Lion King, and a certificate of authenticity. The CAV Laserdisc Deluxe Edition also contained the film, 6 concept art lithographs and The Making of the Lion King, and added storyboards, character design artwork, concept art, rough animation, and a director's commentary that the VHS edition did not have, on a total of 4 double-sided discs. The VHS tape quickly became the best-selling videotape of all time. 4.5 million tapes were sold on the first day, 54, and ultimately sales totaled more than 30 million, 55, before these home video versions went into moratorium in 1997, 56. The VHS releases have sold a total of 32 million units in North America, 57, and grossed $520 million in sales revenue, 58. In addition, 23 million units were shipped overseas to international markets. 59. In the Philippines, the film was released on VHS in March 1995 by Magnavision. On October 7, 2003, the film was re-released on VHS and released on DVD for the first time, titled The Lion King, Platinum Edition, as part of Disney's Platinum Edition line of DVDs. The DVD release featured 2 versions of the film on the first disc. A remastered version created for the 2002 IMAX release and an edited version of the IMAX release purporting to be the original 1994 theatrical version. 61. A second disc, with bonus features, was also included in the DVD release. The film's soundtrack was provided both in its original Dolby 5.1 track and in a new Disney-enhanced home theater mix, making this one of the first Disney DVDs so equipped. 62, by means of seamless branching. The film could be viewed either with or without a newly created scene. A short conversation in the film replaced with a complete song, The Morning Report. A special collector's gift set was also released, containing the DVD set, 5 exclusive lithographed character portraits, new sketches created and signed by the original character animators, and an introductory book entitled The Journey. 56. The Platinum edition of The Lion King featured changes made to the film during its IMAX re-release, including redrawn crocodiles in the "I Just Can't Wait to Be King" sequence as well as other alterations. 61. More than 2 million copies of the Platinum edition DVD and VHS units were sold on the first day of release. 54. A DVD box set of the 3 The Lion King films, in 2-disc special edition formats, was released on December 6, 2004. In January 2005, the film, along with the sequels, went back into moratorium. 63. The DVD releases have sold a total of 11.9 million units and grossed $220 million. Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment released the Diamond edition of The Lion King on October 4, 2011. 65. This marks the first time that the film has been released in high-definition Blu-ray and on Blu-ray 3D. 65, 66. The initial release was produced in 3 different packages. A 2-disc version with Blu-ray and DVD, a 4-disc version with Blu-ray, DVD, Blu-ray 3D, and digital copy, and an 8-disc box set that also includes the sequels The Lion King II, Simba's Pride and The Lion King 1.5. 65, 66. A standalone single-disc DVD release also followed on November 15, 2011. 65. The Diamond edition topped the Blu-ray charts with over 1.5 million copies sold. 67. The film sold 3.83 million Blu-ray units in total, leading to a $101.14 million income. 68. The Lion King was once again released to home media as part of the Walt Disney Signature Collection, first released on digital HD on August 15, 2017. And on Blu-ray and DVD on August 29, 2017. 69. The Lion King was released on Ultra HD Blu-ray and 4K digital download on December 3, 2018. Box office. The Lion King grossed $422.8 million in North America and $545.7 million in other territories, for a worldwide total of $968.5 million. 2. After its initial run, having earned $763.4 million, 71, it ranked as the highest-grossing animated film of all time, the highest-grossing film of Walt Disney Animation Studios, 72, and the highest-grossing film of 1994, 73. It held the record for the highest-grossing animated feature film in North America, outside North America, and worldwide, until it was surpassed by the computer-animated Finding Nemo, 2003. With the earnings of the 3D run, The Lion King surpassed all the aforementioned films but Toy Story 3, 2010, to rank as the second highest-grossing animated film worldwide, later dropping to 9th and then 10th. Surpassed by its photorealistic CGI remake counterpart, and it remains the highest-grossing hand-drawn animated film. 74. It is also the biggest animated movie of the last 50 years in terms of estimated attendance. 75. The Lion King was also the highest-grossing G-rated film in the United States from 1994 to 2003 and again from 2011 to 2019 until its total was surpassed by the Computer-animated Toy Story 4, 2019, unadjusted for inflation. Original theatrical run. In the first 2 days of limited release in 2 theaters, it grossed $622,277, and for the weekend it earned $1,586,753. Placing 10th place at the box office for the weekend. 77. The average of $793,377 per theater stands as the largest ever achieved during a weekend. 78, and it was the highest-grossing opening weekend on under 50 screens, beating the record set by Star Wars, 1977, from 43 screens. 79. The film grossed $3,766,690 from the 2 screens in just 10 days. 80, when it opened wide. The Lion King grossed $40.9 million, which at the time was the 4th biggest opening weekend ever and the highest sum for a Disney film, to top the weekend box office. 13, in September 1994. Disney pulled the film from movie theaters when its gross was $267 million, and announced it would be re-released during Thanksgiving in order to take advantage of the holiday season. 81, following its re-release. By March 1995, it had grossed $312.9 million, being the highest-grossing 1994 film in the United States and Canada, but was soon surpassed by Forrest Gump. 82. Box Office Mojo estimates that the film sold over 74 million tickets in the U.S. in its initial theatrical run. 83. Equivalent to $812.1 million adjusted for inflation in 2018. 84. Internationally, the film grossed $455.8 million during its initial run, for a worldwide total of $768.6 million. 71. It had record openings in Sweden and Denmark. 85. Re-releases. IMAX and large format. The film was reissued on December 25, 2002, for IMAX and large format theaters. Don Hahn explained that 8 years after The Lion King got its original release, there was a whole new generation of kids who haven't really seen it, particularly on the big screen. Given the film had already been digitally archived during production, the restoration process was easier, while also providing many scenes with enhancements that covered up original deficiencies. 38. 86. An enhanced sound mix was also provided to, as Hahn explained, make the audience feel like they're in the middle of the movie. 38. On its first weekend, The Lion King made $2.7 million from 66 locations, a $27,664 per theater average. This run ended with $15.7 million on May 30, 2003. 3D conversion. In 2011, The Lion King was converted to 3D for a 2-week limited theatrical reissue and subsequent 3D Blu-ray release. 65. 88. The film opened at the number 1 spot on Friday, September 16, 2011, with $8.9 million, 89, and finished the weekend with $30.2 million, ranking number 1 at the box office. This made The Lion King the first reissue release to earn the number 1 slot at the American weekend box office since the reissue of Return of the Jedi, 1983, in March 1997. 74. The film also achieved the 4th highest September opening weekend of all time. 90. It held off very well on its second weekend, again earning first place at the box office with a 27% decline to $21.9 million. 91. Most box office observers had expected the film to fall about 50% in its second weekend and were also expecting Moneyball, 2011, to be at first place, 92, after its initial box office success. Many theaters decided to continue to show the film for more than 2 weeks. Even though its 3D Blu-ray release was scheduled for 2.5 weeks after its theatrical release, 91, in North America, the 3D re-release ended its run in theaters on January 12, 2012. With a gross $94.2 million. Outside North America, it earned $83.4 million. 93, the successful 3D re-release of The Lion King made Disney and Pixar plan 3D theatrical re-releases of Beauty and the Beast, Finding Nemo, 2003, Monsters, Inc., 2001, and The Little Mermaid, 1989, during 2012 and 2013, 94. However, none of the re-releases of the first 3 films achieved the enormous success of The Lion King 3D, and the theatrical re-release of The Little Mermaid was ultimately cancelled. 95, in 2012. Ray Subas of Box Office Mojo wrote that the reason why the 3D version of The Lion King succeeded was because the notion of a 3D re-release was still fresh and exciting. And The Lion King 3D felt timely given the movie's imminent Blu-ray release. Audiences have been hit with 3 3D re-releases in the year since, meaning the novelty value has definitely worn off. The Lion King received 4 Golden Globe Award and Oscar nominations. The film would go on to win 3 Golden Globes, for Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy, Best Original Score, and Best Original Song for "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" by Elton John and Tim Rice, 132, as well as 2 Academy Awards. For Best Original Score, Hans Zimmer, and Best Original Song with "Can You Feel the Love Tonight", 133. The songs "Circle of Life" and "Hakuna Matata" were also nominated. 133. "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" also won the Grammy Award for Best Male Vocal Performance. 134. The Lion King also won Annie Awards for Best Animated Feature, Best Achievement in Voice Acting, for Jeremy Irons, and Best Individual Achievement for Story Contribution in the Field of Animation. 135, at the Saturn Awards. The film was nominated in 2 categories: Best Fantasy Film and Best Performance by a Younger Actor, although it did not win in either category. 136. The film also received 2 nominations at the British Academy Film Awards for Best Sound as well as the Anthony Asquith Award for Film Music, although it lost in both categories to Speed and Backbeat respectively. 137. The film received 2 BMI Film and TV Awards for Film Music and Most Performed Song with "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?" Citation needed, at the 1995 MTV Movie Awards. The film received nominations for Best Villain and Best Song, though it lost in both categories. 138. The Lion King won the Kids' Choice Award for Favorite Movie at the 1995 Kids' Choice Awards. 139, 140, in 2008. The Lion King was ranked as the 319th greatest film ever made by Empire magazine, 141, and in June 2011, Time named it one of the 25 all-time best animated films, 142, in June 2008. The American Film Institute listed The Lion King as the 4th best film in the animation genre in its AFI's 10 Top 10 list, 143, having previously put Hakuna Matata as 99th on its AFI's 100 Years. .100 Songs ranking, 144, in 2016. The film was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Controversies. Kimber the White Lion screenshot from an early presentation reel of The Lion King that shows a white lion cub and a butterfly. Further information. Kimber the White Lion section. The Lion King controversy. Certain elements of the film were thought to bear a resemblance to Osamu Tezuka's 1960s Japanese anime television series, Jungle Emperor, known as Kimber the White Lion in the United States, with some similarities between a number of characters and various individual scenes. The 1994 release of The Lion King drew a protest in Japan, where Kimber and its creator Osamu Tezuka are cultural icons. 488 Japanese cartoonists and animators, led by manga author Michiko Satonaka, signed a petition accusing Disney of plagiarism and demanding that they give due credit to Tezuka. 145, 146. Matthew Broderick believed initially that he was, in fact, working on an American version of Kimber since he was familiar with the Japanese original. 147. The Lion King director Roger Allers claimed complete unfamiliarity with the show until the movie was almost completed, and did not remember it being ever mentioned during development. 148. Madhavi Sundar has suggested that Allers might have seen the 1989 remake of Kimber on primetime television while living in Tokyo. However, while Allers did indeed move to Tokyo in 1983 in order to work on Little Nemo: Adventures in Slumberland, 1989, he moved back to the United States in 1985. 4 years before the 1989 remake of Kimber began airing. 149. Co-director Rob Minkoff also stated that he was unfamiliar with it. 150. 151. Minkoff also observed that whenever a story is based in Africa, it is not unusual to have characters like a baboon, a bird, or hyenas. Takayuki Matsutani, the president of Tezuka Productions, which created Kimber the White Lion, said in 1994 that a few staff of our company saw a preview of The Lion King, discussed this subject and came to the conclusion that you cannot avoid having these similarities as long as you use animals as characters and try to draw images out of them. 152. Yoshihiro Shimizu of Tezuka Productions has refuted rumors that the studio was paid hush money by Disney and stated that they have no interest in suing Disney, explaining that we think it's a totally different story. Shimizu further explained that they rejected urges from some American lawyers to sue because, we're a small, weak company. Disney's lawyers are among the top 20 in the world. 153. Tezuka's family and Tezuka Productions never pursued litigation. 154. Fred Ladd, who was involved early on with importing Kimber and other Japanese anime into America for NBC, expressed incredulity that Disney's people could remain ignorant. 155. 151. Ladd stated there was at least one animator remembered by his colleagues as being an avid Kimber fan and being quite vociferous about Disney's conduct during production. 155. Animators Tom Sito and Mark Kausler have both stated that they had watched Kimber as children in the 1960s. However, Sito maintains there was absolutely no inspiration from Kimber during the production of The Lion King, and Kausler emphasized Disney's own Bambi as being their model during development. 156. 152. The controversy surrounding Kimber and The Lion King was parodied in a 1995 episode of The Simpsons, where a lion appearing in the clouds is saying, "You must avenge my death, Kimber. I mean, Simba." Other controversies. The alleged sex frame. Protests were raised against one scene where it appears as if the word sex might have been embedded into the dust flying in the sky when Simba flops down. 158, which conservative activist Donald Wildman asserted was a subliminal message intended to promote sexual promiscuity. Animator Tom Cito has stated that the letters spell SFX, a common abbreviation for special effects, not with an E, instead of the F, and were intended as an innocent signature, created by the effects animation team. 159, hyena biologists protested against the animal's portrayal. Though the complaints may have been somewhat tongue-in-cheek. One hyena researcher, who had organized the animators' visit to the University of California, Berkeley field station for the study of behavior, ecology, and reproduction, where they would observe and sketch captive hyenas. 160, listed "Boycott the Lion King" in an article listing ways to help preserve hyenas in the wild, and later joked that The Lion King set back hyena conservation efforts. 161, 162, even so. The film was also credited with sparking an interest in hyenas at the Berkeley Center. 162, the film has been criticized for race and class issues, with the hyenas seen as reflecting negative stereotypes of Black and Latino ethnic communities. The first Lion King-related animated projects involved the characters of Timon and Pumbaa. First, the duo starred in the animated short "Stand By Me", featuring Timon singing the eponymous song, which was released in 1995 accompanying the theatrical release of Tom and Huck, 1995. The duo then received their own animated series, The Lion King's Timon and Pumbaa, which ran for 3 seasons and 85 episodes between 1995 and 1999. Ernie Sabella continued to voice Pumbaa, while Timon was voiced by Quinton Flynn and Kevin Shawn in addition to Nathan Lane. 167, Disney released 2 direct-to-video films related to The Lion King. The first was sequel The Lion King II, Simba's Pride, released in 1998 on VHS. The film centers around Simba and Nala's daughter, Kiara, who falls in love with Kovu, a male lion who was raised in a pride of Scar's followers. The Outsiders. 168, The Lion King 1.5, another direct-to-video Lion King film, saw its release in 2004. It is a prequel in showing how Timon and Pumbaa met each other, and also a parallel in that it also depicts what the characters were retconned to have done during the events of the original movie. 169, in June 2014. It was announced that a new TV series based on the film would be released called The Lion Guard, featuring Kian, the second-born cub of Simba and Nala. The Lion Guard is a sequel to The Lion King and takes place during the time gap within The Lion King II. Simba's Pride. 170, with the last 2 episodes of Season 3 taking place after the events of that film. It was first broadcast on Disney Channel as a television film titled The Lion Guard. Return of the Roar in November 2015 before airing as a series on Disney Junior in January 2016. In September 2016, following the critical and financial success of The Jungle Book, Walt Disney Pictures announced that they were developing a CGI remake of The Lion King by the same name, with Jon Favreau directing. 173, the following month, Jeff Nathanson was hired to write the script for the film. 174, Favreau originally planned to shoot it back-to-back with the sequel to The Jungle Book. 173, 175, however. It was reported in early 2017 that the latter film was put on hold in order for Favreau to instead focus mainly on The Lion King. 176, in February 2017. Favreau announced that Donald Glover had been cast as Simba and that James Earl Jones would be reprising the role of Mufasa, 177, the following month. It was reported that Beyoncé was Favreau's top choice to voice Nala, but she had not accepted the role yet due to a pregnancy, 178, in April 2017. Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen joined the film as Timon and Pumbaa, respectively, 179. 2 months later, John Oliver was cast as Zazu, 180, at the end of July 2017. Beyoncé had reportedly entered final negotiations to play Nala and contribute a new soundtrack, 181. The following month, Chiwetel Ejiofor entered talks to play Scar, 182. Later on, Alfre Woodard and John Carney joined the film as Sarabi and Rafiki, respectively, 183, 184. On November 1, 2017, Beyoncé and Chiwetel Ejiofor were officially confirmed to voice Nala and Scar. With Eric Andre, Florence Kasumba, Keegan-Michael Key, J.D. McCrary, and Shahadi Wright Joseph joining the cast as the voices of Azizi, Shenzi, and Kamari, young Simba, and young Nala, respectively. While Hans Zimmer would return to score the film's music, 185, 186, 187, 188, 189, on November 28, 2017. It was reported that Elton John had signed onto the project to rework his musical compositions from the original film. 190. Production for the film began in May 2017. 191. It was released on July 19, 2019. Black is King main article. Black is King. In June 2020, Parkwood Entertainment and Disney announced that a film titled Black is King would be released on July 31, 2020 on Disney. The live-action film is inspired by The Lion King, 2019, and serves as a visual album for the tie-in album The Lion King, The Gift, which was curated by Beyoncé for the film. 193. Directed, written and executive produced by Beyoncé. Black is King is described as reimagining the lessons of The Lion King for today's young kings and queens in search of their own crowns. 194. The film chronicles the story of a young African king who undergoes a transcendent journey through betrayal, love and self-identity to reclaim his throne, utilizing the guidance of his ancestors and childhood love. With the story being told through the voices of present-day black people. 195. The cast includes Lupita Nyong'o, Naomi Campbell, Jay-Z, Kelly Rowland, Pharrell Williams, Tina Knowles-Lawson, Eweng Adi-Chewol, and Adit Akech. Video games main article. The Lion King video game. Along with the film release, 3 different video games based on The Lion King were released by Virgin Interactive in December 1994. The main title was developed by Westwood Studios, and published for PC and Amiga computers and the consoles SNES and Sega Mega Drive. Stage adaptations main article. The Lion King musical. Walt Disney Theatrical produced a musical stage adaptation of the same name, which premiered in Minneapolis, Minnesota in July 1997. And later opened on Broadway in October 1997 at the New Amsterdam Theatre. The Lion King musical was directed by Julie Taymor, 204, and featured songs from both the movie and Rhythm of the Pride Lands, along with 3 new compositions by Elton John and Tim Rice. Mark Mancina did the musical arrangements and new orchestral tracks. 205. The musical became one of the most successful in Broadway history, winning 6 Tony Awards including Best Musical. and despite moving to the Minskoff Theatre in 2006, is still running to this day in New York, becoming the third longest-running show and highest-grossing Broadway production in history. The show's financial success led to adaptations all over the world. 12, 206, 207, The Lion King inspired 2 attractions retelling the story of the film at Walt Disney Parks and Resorts. The first, The Legend of the Lion King, featured a recreation of the film through life-size puppets of its characters, and ran from 1994 to 2002 at Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. 208. Another that is still running is the live-action 30-minute musical review of the movie, Festival of the Lion King, which incorporates the musical numbers into gymnastic routines with live actors, along with animatronic puppets of Simba and Pumbaa and a costumed actor as Timon. The attraction opened in April 1998 at Disney World's Animal Kingdom, 209, and in September 2005 in Hong Kong Disneyland's Adventureland, 210, a similar version under the name The Legend of the Lion King was featured in Disneyland Paris from 2004 to 2009. 211, 212. See also